Psychedelics.
Yeah.
Because I think more people will relate with my point of view because I've not done any drug. Someone in my position, the best we can do is just kind of consider what it might be like. And you, on the other hand, are on the other side of the window, and you can tell me exactly what it's like.
Yeah, and so the very first thing I had tried a long time ago was not shrooms or anything like that. It was acid, and that's what they called it, acid, LSD. Whatever. Yeah. And I didn't think much of it. I think one guy one time gave me a little, but it's so small. You're like, no way. Like, what's that going to do?
Right.
Well, it does a lot.
It's like a cornflake.
Smaller than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on your finger. Anyway, you kind of, for me, I was in a band, so we were at this rock band place at this dude's house, and I took like half, and all like happened was my face hurt because I couldn't stop smiling. Because this one dude got on the guitar, Marshall Stack, and he plays Pantera's Walk for 5 hours. And he was just loving life. He's like headbanging, and me and everybody else were like, it just got to be so funny, it became infectious. Dude, you don't understand. Plus, he had a cranked up concert level.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like shaking the floors. So we bail. He stays in the basement. And we're like,
on repeat.
And we're like, as soon as somebody stops and we listen again, like, we start laughing. Because he's just down there, like, sweating. That's all he's playing.
Yeah.
So then, fast forward, we go to Grateful Dead show at RFK Stadium, and with Tom Watson, and he's like, "All right, I want to, it's like a girl when they make up their mind and lose their virginity." He's like, "I'm going to sleep with someone," and that guy, he's just like, "I'm going to do LSD," and I was like, "Okay, let's do it." I've done it, and I'm not a huge fan, but we'll do it. Not hard at a Grateful Dead show back in 1993 or whatever. People just walking around. And so finally we find this hippie, just like you would expect, man. Long beard and shit. But here's the thing. He's like, "You guys want some Sid?" And we were like, "Yes, yeah. 2 please." All right, whatever. But here's the thing. Acid, LSD, apparently it can absorb through your skin and everything.
Your flesh, yeah.
Oh, he's got this he just takes, it's a sheet of acid this big.
God damn.
No, he just holds it with his hand. He's like, "This shit."
Break the flake.
No, and he just tears them. It's paper. It's paper.
Yeah, they put the chemical in the paper.
And then he just tears it, and he's like, "There you go." And I'm like, "Okay." And this guy is going, I mean, he's fucking handling this massive. So we take that, and that's where Tom Watson comes in, where he is like, it starts to set in, and we don't give a shit about the Dead show going on inside.
Yeah.
And it wasn't RFK, it was Capitol Center. Remember Capitol Center? So that's going on, and we're just outside. And all the security guards and stuff in front of where you go into the show, it's just all like the local people, and a bunch of black dudes and women. And next to them, I shit you not, was a pile up to the top of this thing, bookshelf, of confiscated little liquor bottles and stuff. And then because we start tripping balls in the parking lot, and now everyone's going into the show, and we're just walking around. And we're like, whoa. Like, all of a sudden you start seeing, like, man, I can see the pores in the paint, like on new cars and shit, and they all look all glossy. And shit just starts getting weird. And then you piss, which like seems like for like an hour. And I'm like, "Let's go on the show, Tom. Like, we're never going to see Grateful Dead again."
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, man, he couldn't. This is how Tom talks." And I was like, "All right." So we go to get up to the to go on the show. We got our tickets. We're like, check it 90,000 times. Okay.
We're in the right place.
We're going on the show. And they're standing there looking at us, and they got this girl in front of us. And this chick grabs her. She's like going through her purse. She's like, "Bitch, isn't this cess?" Or whatever she said. It sounded like cess to me, but probably weed. And the isn't this that? Then a black dude walks over and he goes, hey, puts all that shit back in the purse. He's like, "Fucking cares, man." and then he goes, "Keep all the weed, but you can't take the liquor in there."
Yeah.
And then she goes in, and he goes, puts it in his hands.
"That's for me."
fuck it. I don't care.
What else are you going to do? Dump it out?
Well, and also, not only that, dump it out, throw it away,
That's
give
what
it to
they tell
somebody
you.
else. I mean, it's a waste.
It's
so he
unopened.
took it, and I don't blame him. And so Tom and I go, can we have some of that? And they're like, fuck no. So they let us in or whatever, and it's just a weird experience. But then Tom is sitting there, and I'm familiar with what's called trails. So and back then you could smoke inside the Capitol Arena or whatever the fuck it was called, Cap Center. Grateful Dead's playing. I never did like the Grateful Dead. They have the one song, Touch of Grey, that's all right, blah, blah, blah. But, some people were like, oh, it's all about riding the train, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. But anyway, they're playing, and Tom suddenly notices that he's a smoker. So, the trails on his cigarette. He's like...
Yeah, the cherry of his cigarette.
So next to me, he's just fucking going apeshit. And I'm like, Tommy, please.
Writing his name in the sky. Like,
well, it doesn't really work like that. It doesn't stay. It's just like when you move it, you just see it again.
How long of a delay? Like a second and a half?
No, just like this. You go, whoosh, and they go, whoosh, and it'll catch up. And it's just, but if you go like this, it'll be, whoosh,
Right.
And he just kept going, how does a drug make me see shit? That's not there. And I'm like, I don't know, man, but just, that's what it does. It's fucking LSD. And he's like, right. How does a drug make me see shit? And I'm like, wow. How does a drug make you be fucking annoying?
And so this is like...
He went on and on with this shit, man. And then we're driving home in my truck, and I'm like, hey, let's just stay in the parking lot. No. Maryland police came through there on horseback, whacking motherfuckers, kicking everybody the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I grew up on a horse farm. And so I'm like, tripping my balls off, and this fucking cop comes up on a horse. It was just habit. I went up to grab the reins. Fuck. I was just like, hey. And then I was like this. Ow. And the guy's like, he pushes me with a baton.
Yeah.
And I'm like a jock.
Right.
In high school.
Yeah.
And he's like, get out of here, you freak. That's what he said. He goes, we want to go home. We got families. And he's got this gigantic horse about to run everyone over, poking me with a baton. And I was just like, hey, maybe he wants a carrot. And he just goes, this the whole freak thing. And then I'll never forget this. He's like, we got families. I'm like, so do I. But he kind of froze for a second, like, maybe.
Yeah.
And rode away. And I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here, man. We need to get the fuck. I have never in my life, I think I was 18 when that happened, 17 or 18.
Yeah.
I had never seen anything like that or experienced someone coming up and fucking pushing you around like that. And when I say he poked me, it wasn't a small thing. I mean, it hurt.
Sure, yeah, they got to move you.
Fucking poked me. Then he fucking crushed my forearm. I was like, horsey.
Yeah. No.
Of course, man. He's like, get the fuck away. Get out of here, you freak. We got families. I'm like, so do I, man. Don't fucking kill me.
Still a child.
Yeah. And he just looked at me. He just went.
That's probably what he was doing, recognizing how young you were.
Yeah, he's like
might have crossed the line.
Yeah, I should have done that. He looks like a nice guy.
Whatever. On to the next freak.
Hey, come here. He's beating the shit out of a bunch of other fucking people that have no idea what's going on. But, I also realized another thing, being at that Dead show, it's not this peace, love, and happiness shit, man. A bunch of assholes, drug-hooked, fucking dirty, disgusting panhandlers. And they'll have these, magic bus, where they make their own dirty-ass Chinese food out of and sell it to everyone at overpriced, and it's probably full of drugs. But that would be a gift, right? It's just a bunch of fucking hippie assholes, man. I've never met bigger fucking cock-sucking assholes than I did at a goddamn Dead show.
I've only been to 2 concerts.
You'll meet nicer people at a Slayer or a Slipknot show than you will a fucking Grateful Dead. Those guys are the real pricks. It's just like the left and the right. It's like the left, peace, love, and happiness, you fucking Nazi. But the right's like, we just want to be normal.
Yeah.
And it was the same way. These fucking people were monsters, dude. Like, you could tell, like, you go to get some pizza from this, like, vendor, and there's, like, a kid chained up, behind. You're like,
putting pepperonis on the pie.
Yeah.
Or like, I have to do this.
Yeah. Grateful Dead. Peace, man. Peace, love, and happiness, you fucking prisoner.
Well, you said earlier when you were talking
Dog
about
shit.
it, I think a point that
You're talking about the psychedelics.
Yeah, so I think people who have not done psychedelics, I think most people have drank, and you get a little woozy, things get like blurry and whatnot.
Judgment goes down.
And then when you hear about someone seeing shit, you're like, oh yeah, I saw some blurry shit once too. And it's different. You explain that to me.
Good point. I was explaining it to you earlier. So it's not like, I think the movies do, in the media, they do a terrible job with a couple things, especially when it comes to drugs and things like that. Which is most people's assumptions, that they probably have it wrong. They assume that cocaine just speeds you up. Right. Okay, well, if that's all it did, people will just drink coffee like it's crazy, which they do now anyway, right?
Yeah.
That's not true. Cocaine releases all your endorphins, and it makes you...
You physically feel different.
Yes, you speed up, but trust me, you don't feel like running when you're on cocaine. Because you're like, if I run, I'm pretty sure my heart will pop.
All right.
But you could just sit in one spot and do cocaine for 20 hours, and as long as you're drinking and got somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what that drug does. It gives you, just like opioids, it gives you this false sense of well-being, man. So you're euphoric. Right. Your life is shit. Shit. But you might as well have won the lottery a few minutes ago, man, because you're just happy, you feel good, and that's it. That's all the drug does. It doesn't make you go, I'm going to go build a house. Now, methamphetamines, that's another story. Dudes just go out and start digging holes.
Yeah, that's energy stop. And
that's different. Cocaine
Nazi stuff,
is a whole other level. And then LSD doesn't make you see Smurfs walking around and shit. It's your world changed. Like, there's not an actual... And like I told you that one story, I looked up in the cloud. The first time I tripped my balls off, I got really scared. And luckily, I was with a lot of people. And I was just like, man, is this normal? It can't be normal. Like, I'm seeing shit that doesn't exist. And what I mean by that is, like, I saw that picture, maybe we could put it up later, everyone had them back in the day. It's just a picture of a keyboard, like a piano.
Sure.
And it's got a rose laying across it.
And the keys are falling off.
And then there's a music, like written music above it. It's just it's a wall piece.
Sure.
Just to fill up blank walls, like that map.
Yeah.
Well, I looked over and the keys went and then back, and then the music was racing across, and I'm just like, holy shit, right? And I'm with like 8 people, and I just given them all the shit that I took an hour ago. And now it's hitting me. So that's when I'm looking at the music thing going, oh my God.
So this is...
And all of a sudden Brandon goes, Devin. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, are you okay, bro? I'm like, yeah, why? And he goes, oh, I don't know. You're just over there going...
a crab in your pants.
Yeah. So, and I didn't know I was doing that.
Yeah.
Because I was literally... I'm trying to explain it as clear as I can. That's what you see. Yeah. That's your reality.
Yeah.
And that's why it comes crashing down, like windows bend and breathe and melt. And so if you're actually seeing that, what's reality? So if your brain starts to fuck with you, and then, dude, and I said, maybe I need some fresh air. So we go out on the balcony, and dude sits me down. He's like, it's me, Damien, man.
Look over the side.
He takes his hat off, and he had long red hair, and I went, oh, God, put it back. Because then it went, and I was like, put that shit back on. And then I'm looking up at the clouds, and all I could see was that medical, like the clear statue people would get where you can see the cardiovascular and cardiopulmonary system.
Yeah.
I just saw that going dish, 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 with lightning through it, taking up the whole sky, and I was like, oh my God. And here's the feeling that everyone gets that trips that hard is, when's this shit over? And here's what drug addicts probably, or not a drug addict, even drug addicts don't eat acid that often. I just wanted it to be over.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't having fun. It was not fun for me.
Well, to what you said is...
But then mushrooms was another experience, though.
People hear this story, and, like, it's everybody's human nature, like, to create an image in their head of the story that you're telling. But you have the 5 senses. And I think where people miss it is you're literally using your eyeballs the same way you might be watching this video or looking at anything else you look at in your room, and it's different than it was the day before.
But it's moving, but massively different.
Yeah, and to the point where you have to reconstruct exactly
your
how
whole
the world
reality.
like how it fucking works.
And you're like, hang on, bricks don't breathe. They never have.
And it wasn't until you told me the story that I was like, that's what lights people up. Is because you're literally living in another reality.
Yeah, man. It's not like people. I just hate the way movies do it when they show people taking psychedelics and stuff like that, and they see like a Smurf come out and give them a letter or something. Like, bro, that doesn't happen. It's things that are in your like this desk, that painting, that all of a sudden it just starts to. It doesn't have any borders. It moves.
The laws of physics are changed, and you're experiencing it in real time with your eyes.
This girl, April, was like, maybe you'll feel better if we go for a ride. And I'm thinking anything, right? Get in the car, big mistake. Then I'm
all that extra movement is what's doing it.
But I could tell you right now, I really thought we were going down Route 7 sideways at like 110 miles an hour. I was like...
And that's what's interesting about everything you're saying about it is it's all relative to movement, right? Even a stationary object, you're still moving, and so your brain processing movement. It's like that. It's like the example of how people are just athletically inclined. They know exactly when to release a baseball.
I didn't see anything that I hadn't seen before, if that makes sense. Like, of course, I'd never seen bricks breathe and windows melt and shit look weird, but I could imagine it.
Yeah.
So, but here's the difference: you're just actually seeing it, and you can rub your eyes all you want, but no. Life-size squirrel is going to show up and ask you for a resume or something weird. Right. It's shit you're actually looking at.
It's not a dream.
Right. It's there. It's very present.
It's your waking reality.
You got to figure out how to handle it. So then the difference was later on, I said, I didn't like that. I'm not an acid guy. I was like, never again.
Well, yeah.
And then later on, I tried mushrooms with natural and everything else. So mushrooms has a thing that's kind of similar. All of a sudden, you start to feel electricity kind of going through your body. And mushrooms will create a oneness with everybody. And I find that interesting because mushrooms are a fungus that's underground. They're all connected to each other. Yeah. And the one thing I've always noticed over the years, anybody that does mushrooms, and I'm not a huge fan, so it's been years and years and years, but is that everyone's just like, they feel connected to the other people they're doing mushrooms with. Really? I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
Because that's what fungus is all about.
Yeah.
Yacht.